Welcome to the Ahern video podcast. Today I want to talk about preparing for 2015. I just came back from the American Trucking Association conference, and I got to meet and talk with a lot of the movers and shakers, and I also got to speak with a lot of the mid-sized carriers that are attempting to grow their business. And the people that are being very successful, they kept driving home the point that planning is an essential part of success. Also changing. If your model is working, keep changing it up. Get uncomfortable. Get outside your comfort zone. Keep focusing on the things that are going to make you different than everybody else. In my newsletters, you know that every week I talk about accountability. Every week I talk about tracking cost. Every week I say that you need to treat each truck and each driver and each dispatcher as a profit center. There was a prevailing theme throughout the conference, and that was simply that there are no drivers. Well, some people are fully staffed, others are not. And all of that has to do with creativity, how they're approaching the marketplace, how they're treating their drivers, what they're doing to get drivers into the door when everybody under the sun is looking to acquire that same type of talent. But most importantly, they've already got their 1, 3, and 5-year plan. It was interesting that some of the mid-sized carriers that were doing well, when I asked them what their plan was, the plan was to continue to do what they're doing and continue to make money. Also, I wish I had another 100 trucks. I wish I had another 100 trucks. I wish I had another 100 trucks. And to me, that's not planning. Remember, when you start expanding your business and it's very capital intensive, you have to realize that this is a cyclical market. Right now things are good for us, not because the general economy is that good, because it's not. I don't care what the newspapers say. But the reality of the situation is, remember where we were in 2008. Remember that the pendulum's going to swing. And remember, just because a shipper says, if you buy another 50 trucks, I'll make a commitment to give you more freight, that doesn't mean you should go out and do it, because when the market shifts, the shipper's not going to care if you've got 50 trucks sitting up against a fence. He's not going to care if you've got 100 trucks sitting up a fence. He's not going to care. His job is to move his freight as efficiently as possible at the lowest possible rate. Period. End of discussion. I've been working with a lot of shippers lately, and one of the things I've been working with is changing their mindset. If you want to have capacity and you want to continue to have capacity, you can't keep driving down rates. You need to be able to make sure that the carriers that you partner with make a reasonable profit on your business. Otherwise, as you continue to grow, or as you continue to increase your manufacturing or your output, you're going to have less carriers. I also spoke to a lot of the larger freight brokers, and what they're doing is, in order for them to get capacity, they are hiring people to go out and create capacity. They're called carrier capacity agents. Think about that. Some freight brokers are growing. Why? Because they're getting capacity. Now, everybody says the reason they're getting capacity is just quick pay. That's not only the solution to the problem. The point I'm trying to make is you need to plan. Plan your expenses to your profits. Establish accountability. And also make sure that at the end of each month you get your financial statements within 5 days of the close of each month. Now, many of you that are not large enough to have a full-time accountant, your accountant gives you your financial information 2 or 3 months after the year is ended. Now think about that. How are you going to make adjustments to your business? How are you going to make adjustments to your operations? How are you going to improve your profitability if you're not where you need to be, but it takes you 13 or 14 or 15 months to find out that there were some things fundamentally wrong with your business? I hear all the time, well, my accountant's busy. Well, remember, that accountant works for you. You don't work for the accountant. If that accountant's too busy to give you financial statements on a timely basis, get rid of the accountant. The other thing you need to do is harvest talent. Keep harvesting talent. Keep harvesting new talent. I keep telling you that knowledge is power, but youth is the next generation. Youth is the future. It was interesting because I took my director of marketing with me, and he's 32 years old, and he was going around, and I said, I want you to network with a lot of the young and up-and-coming people, because those are the people that are going to continue to perpetuate our business. And his comment to me, well, you know everybody here, I don't know anybody. And I said, Robert, You got to learn your way. And he did a remarkable job. But what I did is I took him out of his comfort zone. And that's one of the things I want to touch on briefly today. You need to take your people out of your comfort zone. You need to make them assets. You need to make them accountable. You need to set specific goals, specific objectives, time frames to hit those goals and objectives. But you also have to have a carrot out there. You know, one of my clients came to me and he says, you know, my dispatchers, they've got a great bonus based on increasing the utilization on the truck. I said, great, but have you tied that also into retaining of drivers? He says, what are you talking about? I said, well, your driver turnover ratio is X. There's a reason why those drivers are turning over. Did it ever occur to you that you need to get more time spent with the dispatchers to make sure that they're treating those drivers with the proper respect? Maybe they're getting the utilization, but maybe those drivers aren't getting home. And if they're not getting home, what's that driver going to do? That driver's going to leave. I have customers whose average length of haul is 1,100 miles and their drivers are getting home every week. Not every weekend, but they're getting them home every week. And guess what? Their turnover ratio is less. So the point I'm trying to make is you should know where you're at. You should prepare for the unexpected. You should have contingency plan 1, contingency plan 2, contingency plan 3. And if you don't, then you don't have a plan for 2015. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait until your numbers come in 3 or 4 months after the year's expired. Look at where you're at now. Set a specific goal and objective. Establish accountability with your employees. Set time frames to accomplish those goals and objectives. Dangle a carrot in front of everybody and make everybody accountable for their positions. Also recognize it's very important to develop intellectual capital. That's people. I continually hear, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. As an owner of a company, you may have been the quarterback, but trust me, you need people to take your ideas and your visions and move them forward. Many times you'll hear me say I'm not the smartest spark plug in the engine, and people say I'm being modest. I'm not. I'm not the smartest spark plug in the engine, but I recognize how important intellectual capital is, and I surround my people that are much smarter than me. Until next time, thank you for attending the podcast.